Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat Pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Astottarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions and millions of times unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Astottarasara Shishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord. My Dandavat Pranams to all of you. So we'll always begin with the Phal Shruti, because this is the overview of the whole Jaiva Dharma. We touch on these different truths, and it captures different brilliant lights of the Jaiva Dharma within each verse. So where are we up to? Gaura? The last 6? Yes? From Jaiva Dhamma. What is it? Jaiva Dhamma Pateshaye Shura Bhakti Hoye Jaiva Dhamma Na Palile Kame Bhakti Noye.
Janaki, did you forget to give you, so she has to give now.
Oh. From Radharaman.
Check.
Thank you. I accept it with great... Oh, beautiful. Beautiful garland. Thank you so much. This is from our program this morning. Very beautiful. This will make the whole room fragrant. I'll just chant that again. Jaiva Dhamma Pateshaye Shura Bhakti Hoye Jaiva Dhamma Na Padile Kame Bhakti Noye.
One who reads Jaiva Dharma with faithful deliberation will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva Dharma can never attain Bhakti.
So not just Bhakti, but Shuddha Bhakti. And this Mahaprabhu, he has come to give more than just Bhakti. Mahaprabhu has come to give Bhakti Ras. There's such a distinction, because before Mahaprabhu there was only Bhakti available. Can you imagine? Nobody understood about Vrindavan. When Krishna was on the planet, performing his confidential pastimes in the kunjas with the gopis, who understood what Krishna was doing? Did the cowherd boys even understood? Some of the Priyanam Sakhas, maybe Subal, Madhu Mangal, understood little bit. But did Mother Yashoda? She would see his body in the morning with scratch marks. And even one time, Kalavati is there, and she's saying, oh, this is from the gopis at night. Mother Yashoda says, nonsense. My little boy, he's taking milk from my breast. How can he be dancing with girls at night? She just cannot believe anything like that. Not even imagination. And then Mother Mangal said, yeah, Mother Yashoda, she says, oh, this is when the boys are fighting in the pasturing grounds. So Mother Yashoda doesn't understand, Nanda Baba doesn't understand, most of the cowherd boys don't understand. So how can anyone outside of Vrindavan understand what Krishna's doing? And if we don't understand what Krishna's doing, how can we perform bhakti, how can we hear about Bhakti Ras? How is it possible that we can enter this rasa arena? Srimad Bhagavatam has given us the Rasa Panchadiya, the 5 chapters. Shukadev has spoken all about the dance. He spoke so beautifully about the meeting and separation there when Radharani left the Ras. And then they had the beautiful Gopi Geet, when all the gopis are lamenting that Krishna's not there. But who else understood this? Nobody understood this. Only the gopis and Krishna understood. Maybe some Siddha Purushas in their meditation could understand what was going on. So, and this is Bhakti Ras. So before Mahaprabhu advented, who could understand? When Shukadev Goswami was speaking these things to Parikshit, most of the people sitting couldn't really understand these conceptions very well because they were spoken before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has come to give us the ingredient of how to understand Bhakti Ras, how to understand Parakiya Ras. And we were saying this morning that not even Jaidev Goswami, he couldn't understand this beautiful verse, Smaragarala Kandanam, Manasirasi Mandanam, Dehi Parabalavam Udaram, that not Jaidev Goswami wrote, but Krishna came and wrote. That Krishna is surrendering his lotus feather, his lotus peacock feather, and his flute at Srimati Radhika's lotus feet to mitigate the pain of separation that his heart is feeling. Radharani, she even rejects that. So this meeting and separation is churning the understanding or the descriptions of the love between Radha and Krishna. This is our Prem Prayojan. This is the goal that only Mahaprabhu has given us. This goal was not present before Mahaprabhu. It was only Vaidhi Bhakti. We have to know this very deeply. There is no other goal other than following in the footsteps of the Brajadevis, the gopis of Vrindavan. There's a very, very, very beautiful verse that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Aradeyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tad Dharma Vrindavanam. Who is that Supreme Personality? He is the son, Tanayas Tad Dharma Vrindavan. He's the son of the king of Braj, the son of Nanda. That is Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vraja Vardunu Vagena Vakalpite. Who has the highest worship, Upasana, are the gopis. The gopis possess the highest form of worship towards Krishna. Nobody knew this before Mahaprabhu advented. Queen Kunti, in the prayers, chapter 8, Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, she cannot understand how Mother Yashoda bound Krishna. She cannot conceive this. It's described in verse 31. You read it. She's bewildered. You asked me this question the other day. She's bewildered because she only knows in the core of her heart Aishwarya. She doesn't know anything else. That's her staibhav. Now what to speak of before Mahaprabhu? None of these truths of Vrindavan, Braj, were present. This verse is very beautiful. I want to say the whole verse because it's so beautiful. And so first line is describing Krishna. You should all know this verse. Aradeyo Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas. My Gurudev used to say, if you don't know this verse, you're not really my disciple. He would say like that. I'm saying same thing. If you don't know this verse, then you're not really serious about your Krishna consciousness. Because this verse has 4 lines. And it's so beautiful verse. Aradeyo, that means to worship. Who is the most worshipable person? It's Krishna in Vrindavan. That's the first line. Second, who performs the most beautiful worship of that divine person? It's the gopis. Ramya Kachit Upasana Braja Vaduru Vagena Vakalpite. And the third line, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Purnato Nata. That Srimad Bhagavatam is the praman to support this truth. Confirmation. And last line, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mata Idam Tatradaro Naparaha. This is the opinion of Sachinandan Gaurahari. This is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this verse you're getting everything. You're getting Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're getting who worships the most is the gopis. You're getting where is the praman. You have to have some evidence. You can't just make it up. And the evidence is the Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is his opinion. So in 4 lines you're getting the whole complete package. Incredible verse, really, really incredible verse. We should know and remember and meditate on this verse regularly, because it's capturing the essence, and the essence is bhakti ras. Advaita Acharya could have given bhakti. Nityananda can give bhakti. All of these personalities can give. We're not looking for bhakti. We're looking for bhakti ras. It's different. It's quite different. So tell me if it gets too hot again. It went off? Did it go off? Yeah. Takes a minute to shut down.
Question.
Tell me.
How about Bilvamangal Thakur?
Bilvamangal Thakur, yes, he understood something of Krishna. He didn't understand anything of Radha.
But he, in
His
Krishna
Karanamrita, he's glorifying.
Radharani.
Yes, but coming from Krishna's perspective. This is why. But Mahaprabhu, he used to love reading this. But this is mostly glorifying Krishna. It's not mostly glorifying Radha. Otherwise Mahaprabhu would not have been attracted to that scripture. Mahaprabhu was attracted because it's glorifying Krishna. Mahaprabhu is Radharani and he only wants to hear about Krishna. If he was Krishna, he'd want to hear about Radharani. He'd want to hear Radha Rasa Sudanidhi or something like that.
That was not Madhurya Ras.
Yes, it's Madhurya Ras, but
Unnata, it's not Unnata.
no, it's not about the gopis. It's not about the manjaris. It's not in that vein. It's different. It has a completely different flavor. It's like Jaidev Goswami. His writings also are very, very. They're about meeting and separation. But Jaidev Goswami himself couldn't accept that Krishna could put his flute and peacock feather at Radharani's lotus feet. And Bilvamangal Thakur, he probably couldn't have accepted the same thing. So it's not a glorification of this, of Radhika, who is the principal. It's like today is Baladev Vidyabhushan's disappearance day, is it? Tirubhav. So he's our Gaudiya Vedanta Acharya, and he's the one who gave us this Govinda Bhasya to put the Siddhanta, Gaudiya Siddhanta on the map. If this Siddhanta is not there, then we don't have the evidence. And our whole Vaishnava mood is very shaky. So when he's saying here, why was I saying all that? Deliberate will surely attain Shuddha Bhakti. But one who does not read Jaiva Dharma can never, because this Jaiva Dharma from the very first chapter, remember when Premdas Babaji's in his meditation, he's calling to Brahman Manjari, silence the monkey Kakati, because Ananga is looking, and Lalita Devi will be unhappy. So this is our line. He's giving right from the very beginning. So we know where we're going here. This is full Gaudiya Siddhant, powered by Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami. They are the main generals in the army of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're the ones who are giving us today. But we must always remember that Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radhika, so he's always looking for Krishna. But we are always, as devotees, always looking for Radhika, because that is the mood of the Goswamis. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, all of these personalities, they're maidservants of Radhika. They are the ones who have manifested to fulfill the mission of Mahaprabhu on the planet. And his mission is to give Raganuga Bhakti. That's his mission. If you think this practice is for anything other than this, you're mistaken. If you think that you're here as a devotee to build temples, to do so many other things, this is mistaken. We're here to understand the nature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is our avatar, our golden avatar. Who is Mahaprabhu? What did he want? the last reason for his advent was to give the holy name. The first reason was prem, for himself to taste prem. The second is to distribute that prem, raganuga bhakti. The third is to answer the call of Advaita Acharya, and the fourth is to propagate this holy name. But what is the purpose of this holy name is what we're reading about in the 8th chapter. If we don't know this siddhanta, if we don't know these truths about where we're going with our chanting, where are we going with our chanting? What do we want? Moksha? Liberation? Shanti? Huh? What do we want?
Love.
Love for what?
Love for feel. Feel love.
Huh?
Feel love.
Love for what?
We need to see reason to feel love.
You have to have an object of love.
It's God, it's my mom, it's my brother, it's all the people surround me.
To serve others.
No, you haven't understood.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there, but not understood, not clear, not focused.
Mm-hmm.
That's more about me,
It's you too.
my mother, my brother.
No, it's my mother. She give me life.
Yes, you love your mother, but your mother is temporary. Your mother is not eternal.
But how we can don't love
You
my
have
mom?
so many mothers.
No. Now it's I have one.
Now you're in this birth you have
Yes.
one mother, but that mother is also temporary.
What is me?
She will die.
But sure.
Sure, so your love can't be eternal for her. What will happen when you die and your mother is dead? Where is that love then?
It's love.
Just
forever
gone.
stay. No. Love is stay.
Where will it stay?
Stay here.
But you're dead.
But it's not important.
Train him. You have to. Many misconceptions there.
Why? It's love. We speak about.
You
love.
don't understand. This is all nimitic love. This is all temporary love. Every single thing you can see now in this room is going to be destroyed in less than 100 years. It won't even be here. You will just be a piece of ash. You won't even be here, your body, your mother, your father, your family,
But I
this
love
birth,
my
your
mom.
last birth. It will all not be. The only thing that will remain is your love for Krishna.
Only Krishna.
Only Krishna.
Thank you.
Nothing else.
Thank you.
Okay. No problem. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You should go to the Buddhist.
Not only Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, and a lot. Not
Yes,
only
and
Christian.
Krishna.
My mom, my brother.
Yes.
And you too. I love you
No
too.
problem. No problem. Haribo.
Haribo.
Very good.
You said about this verse, we should know which place we can see it.
I will give it to you.
Okay.
I will send it on the thread that we have. I'm very happy that this came out because it was in his heart and it was good that it came out. He hasn't understood anything that I've been saying for the last 3-4 days. Nothing. A devotee is only cultivating the eternal, the nitya path. He knows that this material path is very temporary. He knows that so deeply. I'm going to die. Are you going to die? Is he going to die? Where will his mother be when he's dead? Where will he be when he's dead? He will be in another body with another mother, making up other love.
I understand. He has misconception.
Yes. No problem.
Yes.
He will have heard something from Jaiva Dharma. So some seed will be there. So maybe at some future time he can.
Maharaj, my question was that, like one who reads Jaiva Dharma with faithful deliberation.
Yes.
Do not. So, at which stage this Jaiva Dharma should be read? Is it any neophyte can read it?
We can see what is the consequence.
That's all.
If a neophyte reads this and is still holding on to material conceptions, how is he going to find any truth in this Jaiva Dharma? He won't. Because he will keep going back to material truths. Because that's the experience that he's had with the material consciousness. This is not about material things. This is about transcendental. It's completely on another level altogether. And it's a very big jump from this level to that level. It's huge. I'll give you this verse. It's by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. It's in our verse book. You have the little Shlokamrita verse book?
It is many shlokas.
Yes.
Yes.
You have it?
It is like shlokamrita. I have.
You'll see in the bookshop a little copy, a small copy. Well done, Lalita Priya. Okay, take one out and let me see which page it's on, the verse I'm saying. Beautiful. Thank you.
Fourteen.
14. Okay. He has. Okay. You don't need. 14. Achyuta, your name, huh? So, page number 14.
1, 4.
It is Aradhya Bhagavan Rajat.
That's it. That's it.
And
So I'm very sorry that your brother couldn't hear what I was saying
yes.
and wanted to stay in the material conception of love. Material conception of love is limited and it's very, very selfish. What's the highest form of love in this material world? Huh?
Mother's love.
Mother's love.
I think,
But that mother loves her own child. That mother doesn't love every other child in the street, does she? She's not going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning for every other child. She'll get up at 3 o'clock for her own child. So that's still selfishness. That's extended selfishness. It's still selfish. It is love. Of course it's love. It's the highest love that we know in the conditioned consciousness. But it's conditioned. It's material. It's not transcendental. And you can't argue that it's transcendental when it's not. Muslim, Hindu, Christian, whatever. Yes, of course we can love all brothers. But our love is to encourage them to pure love, to Dharma. Why has Bhaktivinoda Thakur given us this Jaiva Dharma? Why has he spent time? I was reflecting on how beautiful this Jaiva Dharma is written. I mean, it's magical, the writing. He must have thought so deeply. This is the culmination of so many years of praying and meditating to Krishna that this composition has been made. He's giving it to us because he cares so much. Today I was saying, why does Krishna come into this world? He comes in for compassion, karunamayi, to give the jiva something, because he's not compassionate in the spiritual world. There's no one to be compassionate to. Everyone's happy. It's only in this world that people are unhappy. So he can come with that mood of karunamayi, that mood of compassion, and give, and all the Goswamis are the same. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, why is he writing so many songs? Why is he doing so much work to strengthen the jiva's faith in the transcendental world? We don't want to strengthen our faith in this world. I don't want to know, the extent of your love. Yes, of course, Mahaprabhu loved his mother. Nothing wrong with loving mother, but we should know where that is in the plane of consideration, of consciousness. Okay. Rupanuga abhiman pate trita hoy, Jaivedana vimukha ke tanamahine koi.
Faithfully reading Jaiva Dharma will surely strengthen one's abhiman as Rupanuga, follower of Sri Rupa Goswami. One who is averse to reading Jaiva Dharma is certainly devoid of religious principles.
Follower of Rupa Goswami. And who is Srimati Rupa Manjari following Srimati Radhika. So we are followers of Sri Radhika. This is the Bhakti Sa, this is the essence that actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur is taking us to this place. So a Rupanuga is that person who follows Rupa Goswami. And we should understand there's Rupanuga, Raganuga, and Ragatmika. So what's the difference between a Ragatmika and a Rupanuga? Go on.
Ragatmika and
Huh?
Rupanuga.
Yes, what's the difference?
Ragatmika are the associates of Krishna who have spontaneous love in them naturally.
Like who?
Like Nanda Baba,
Yes.
Yashodamai,
Yes.
Gopis.
Yes. Yes.
And Rupanuga is the followers of Rupa Manjari who,
Yes.
who are trying to observe that
Yes.
spontaneous love in
For Radha.
Radharani.
Yes, particularly. So was Rai Ramananda a Rupanuga or a Raganuga?
Ragatmika.
He was a Raganuga Bhakta.
Raganuga.
And Swarup Damodar also.
Lalita.
Yes, Raganuga Bhaktas, not Rupanugas. They're not following Rupa. Neither Nityananda Prabhu, he's not following Rupa Goswami. All the elder parikas, they're not following Rupa Goswami, but we are all under them and we are all following. Okay. I like your brother. I like your brother very much. I was very happy to see him for so many days.
I know. I often argue with him. Often. I know he has misconception, but now I stop because he's sometimes like volcano.
Yeah.
And now I give him Jagannath Prasad. Like
Very
he
good.
do laundry sometimes.
Very good.
And
Very
I
good.
know he needs
And you
time.
brought him here for so many days. It's very good. It's very good. You did good seva. You did good seva. He won't forget his experience. He knows that we all feel friendly towards him. He knows that. He just has to adjust his conceptions.
Maybe he will come back.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see.
You're a very good devotee. You're very good to bring. But this is like pratibimba. You see, this is ultimately pratibimba. And pratibimba can't stand in the company of Vaishnavas for very long. So for many days he sat here, but then it had to be revealed. And he's not ready yet. He needs some more chanting, some more Dham Seva, some more Ganga Snan. Ganga is very powerful. I mean, we should understand from this example how hard it is to change the mind of the conditioned soul. You can't just blast people. You know, it doesn't work. It takes time. Especially Westerners can be very deeply, if he's followed the path of Buddhism for a long time. That's shunyavad, that's atheism. And that's very deep sanskars are there. But we'll see, Mahaprabhu is amazing.
We have
Mahaprabhu.
this Prema Pradipa,
Prema Pradeep, yes?
and that they follow that Arya Samaj.
Yes, that's a very good one. That's a very good. Prema Pradeep, yes. Java Jivane Je Pade Jaiva Dharma Bhaktiman Se Jnana Vrita Jnana Karma.
One who faithfully reads Jaiva Dharma throughout his entire life will be endowed with bhakti and will surely realize the futility of Gyan and Karma.
Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. This is what we learn from that verse. Anyabilasita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. This is also rejected. Jiva Brahm Aikya Gyan. We hold on to Tvam Padartha Gyan, knowledge of the self, and Tat Padartha Gyan, knowledge of Krishna. This knowledge we hold on to. But anything other than that is useless. Empiric knowledge, it's called. It has no eternal value. Everything has to come down to the eternal point. Like with this Prabhu, you know, the mother is not eternal in this world. Krishnera Ramala Seva Lavi Senara Seva Sukhi Magna Rahe Sada Krishna Para.
Such a man, being fully devoted to Shri Radha Krishna Yugal Kishore and having attained their Amal Prem Seva remains forever merged in the bliss of such immaculate loving service.
That means eternally. That means not just for 1 or 2 lifetimes. That means we go back to home. What does going back to home mean? It means we come back to the eternal place. That eternal, timeless resting place in devotional service to Radha and Krishna. We no longer are concerned with anything material whatsoever. Everything is only focused on pleasing Radha and Krishna. Actually, everything is focused on bringing Radha and Krishna together. That's what our focus is. Okay, so I've got in my book that we're on page 174 or 175. Which page, Gokul?
170. No, 174.
170. Yes, we just read those 5 aspects of Dvesha that you didn't understand, right? And we explained them. And then we said the next paragraph after that. So I think we'll start on the top of page 174. By the way, I've sent the audio, and I think it's very helpful for you to listen to the audio of the whole chapter, and then get the overview, and then you can see where we're going and what we're actually discussing, because this chapter is just mind-blowing. It really is a special chapter. So try to listen to the audio. I put it on the thread there. If you hear the audio right the way through, then you will get a picture of where we're going to. Okay, the word upeksha, neglect. Oh, we read all this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we read that. That we don't neglect our family members, for example. It's not that our family members...
I think we have to start from the last part, when an inimical person who has adopted discord.
Okay. When an inimical person who has adopted discordant or inconsistent opinions hears glorification of Shuddha Bhakti or virtuous instructions regarding Bhakti, he will immediately retort with the same futile argument, which is not beneficial for you or for him. That's just like an example now. There's no benefit. It was very good that he left, because there's no benefit. If he doesn't want to know what the Siddhanta is, what the truth is of Vaishnavism, then he shouldn't be here. We're not here to try and convince some speculative idea that I have. We're trying to absorb the spiritual truths from Shastra. We're submissive. We are, what's the path called? Avaroha Panta. This very important word. Even Lalita Priya should know this word. Avaroha Panta means descending. Our line, we're trying to get at the end of our line so we get all the source, all the power. Like Shankar, Shivji, caught Ganga Devi on his head. We want to be underneath the parampara, catch it all on our heads. Through Guru. And all of this will channel through. This is the truth. Regarding Bhakti, he will immediately, some futile argument, which is not beneficial for you or for him. Amazing, we've just read that, and we just had that exchange now. Isn't that amazing? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying like this.
When I live together, we don't speak about spiritual, because I know he has special misconception. And we have material matters.
Yes, understand.
Maybe he have something from this 5 Dvesha. He was not yesterday, yes? Oh, yeah, it was.
He has Sukriti because of his brother. And he came for so many days. And he heard the Mahamantra, he heard these teachings. His English is good.
Yes.
He listened nicely. Something will happen. Slowly.
Yes.
But he has a very good brother. This is his great fortune.
This place.
And this place, Surabhikunj, he's very lucky. But his luckiest jewel is his brother, who's very tolerant and loving and kind to him. So this is your fortune. You've done well.
One should avoid such people.
One should avoid such fruitless arguments and interact with such people only as far as necessary in routine social dealings. One may think that one should include inimical people among the ignorant and therefore bestow mercy on them. But if one does so, one will not help them and will only harm oneself. If someone is strong in that area, they might hurt you, by saying unpleasant things, and actually be offensive to Krishna. So we shouldn't agitate in any circumstance. One should be benevolent, but with caution. Yes, so wise words. These words are so wise. Madhyam Adhikari, Shuddha Bhaktas, should certainly follow these 4 instructions. If they neglect to do so in any way, they become guilty of behaving improperly and thus fail to do that for which they are qualified. If you come to this Madhyam platform, you have a qualification and you have a service to do to Krishna in the conditioned world. Amongst conditioned souls, you have a seva to do. Simultaneous to your bhajan. Of course, you never neglect your bhajan. Your bhajan is number 1. Your bhajan is what you're focusing on. But at the same time, you still have to do the seva in this material world. And that seva is always being compassionate to those around you. Always. Without any lack of energy in that area. Always you're trying to serve people in the conditioned world. Essential. This is considered a serious defect, as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.21.2. Sve sve dikare ya nishta sa guna parikirtita viparyayas tu dosha syad uhaye esha nishchaya. To be firmly established in the duties one is authorized to perform is a good quality, whereas failure to do so is a fault. Good qualities and faults are ascertained in this way. Okay, we have to read the next paragraph to understand that. In other words, good qualities and faults are determined according to one's eligibility and not to any other criteria. According to the Shastras, the Madhyam Adhikari Shuddha Bhakta, he's always saying Shuddha Bhakta, you see. The Madhyam is a Shuddha Bhakta. He's chanting Shuddha Nam. He's not chanting Chayavas even. He's not chanting Nama. He can chant perhaps in a very early stage of Madhyam Kanishta. He can chant some Chayavas, but that will be very quickly purified because his intention is to please Krishna, if it's Chaya. But Pratibimba doesn't even come in. Understand? So Shuddha Bhakta, he's always mentioned this, should develop prema for Krishna and friendship with his pure bhaktas. He should be merciful to the ignorant and should neglect those who are inimical. The degree of friendship that the Madhyam Bhakta establishes with other bhaktas should be in keeping with the degree of their advancement in bhakti. The degree of mercy that he bestows upon the ignorant depends on their degree of sincerity or foolishness. So depending on the brain of the person, if the person is very foolish and doesn't accept logical truths, if he can't accept that, what can you do? You can just give them a sweet, tell them to chant Hare Krishna, and know that time will be the purifying agent. Time is Krishna. To the extent to which he neglects the inimical depends on the degree of their enmity. Yes, if someone is very aggressively angry with you, then you don't have anything to do with them, because you know you're just disturbing them more. It's like Prabhu here was very gentle initially, so there was no... I had actually no idea of his mind, because he was smiling, he was looking attentive, but I was never sure, where is he going? You know, I wasn't quite confident because he hadn't spoken. Only tonight was the first time he spoke, and then I could see his difficulty. The Madhyam Bhakta considers all these things as he interacts with others in spiritual affairs. Worldly affairs should be conducted in a straightforward manner, but should always be performed with the consideration of the ultimate spiritual benefit. That last sentence was beautiful. Always our worldly interactions socially should be perfect, and always we're hopeful that it will take a spiritual track, like I described to you about my Gurudev, when the old ladies would come in and my Gurudev would just sit, hearing everything. And then he'd wait until someone said something toward about spiritual. Then he'd jump on it and open out that part of the conversation. And then it was like a natural absorption. Then they could actually get something. If you just go riding in and just try to slam it in someone, it doesn't work. Devotees have to be very sensitive to each other's adhikar. This is what we're learning. You can't run and hammer people on the head when they're kanishta. My Gurudev used to describe, like, if you get a cloth that you wash the floor with, and it's full of holes, you can't squeeze it very hard because it'll break. Similarly with people, you can't squeeze them hard because they will break. But if they're strong, he's not very strong. So he will break very easily. But I had no idea of what is his nature. But anyway, it's okay. I'm quite comfortable. I'm not disturbed. Of course, I'm always unhappy when someone should not be listening and not be submissive to Shastra. That's always a point of unhappiness for the devotee. But at the same time, we have, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada said, we should be surprised at how many people stay, not at how many people go. Because in the early days, thousands of people were coming to Bhaktivedanta Swami. They were picking up people all over the place, shaving them up, pulling them into the temple, and 2-3 weeks later they'd just go. Because they had no sambandha at all, there was no connection. They had been enamored by something about Prabhupada's magic and mystic, but not enough sukriti to actually maintain, so they just left. But we should be surprised by how many stay, coming from that background. He's coming from a Buddhist background, so I'm surprised that he lasted for 3 days. This is amazing. Although, because of you, he could have lasted longer, but we'll see what his future is. Okay, over time.
One question. How do a Kanishta chant Namabhas? Like, let's say he's standing.
Kanishta is thinking about himself in connection with wanting moksha. He's not thinking Shuddha Bhakti. He's thinking some ulterior motive. This chaya, Namabhas is there in the Kanishta. But what else?
My question is, how do we progress from there? Like Jaiva, so we should start thinking this holy name is to please Krishna. And in that sense, we have to chant the name. What is the process? Means hearing Harikatha, that is there. But while chanting, what should be the mood and what should be the aspiration?
When we chant very carefully. Hare, Radha. Krishna, Krishna, together. Hare, Krishna, together. Krishna, Krishna, separation. Hare, Hare, separation. Hare Rama, together again. Hare Rama, together. Rama, separation suddenly. What are they doing? Oh, my heart is breaking there. Quickly. Hare, Hare. So this conception we have cultivated. You cultivate these moods of affection. You read Vidagdha Madhav by Rupa Goswami and you cultivate these moods of union and separation. You think about them. The more you read and think about these topics, the easier it will be for Shuddhanam to manifest. If all the time, every minute, you're finding an opportunity to read about Mahaprabhu, to read about Radha and Krishna, then the next day you will be benefited by that. But if in the day you get distracted with so many other things, then you won't remember Radha and Krishna very strongly, because you will have missed some opportunities in the day. It's a cultivation. It's actually, first of all, it means sobering from the material attraction in all kinds of ways, subtle and gross. That's what holy name will do automatically. But then what are you going to fill in that space with? It has to be filled in by your personal cultivation of Krishna consciousness, like you're reading the Bhagavatam, you're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, you're filling yourself up with these conceptions. So when you're chanting, again, you're thinking of these. And there's two methods we were just saying on our previous class of meditation. There's mantra upasana and swarasika upasana. Mantra Maya upasana is when I'm thinking of one part. So we can practice. Tomorrow when you start chanting, think about Kaliya Naga. Think about the Jamuna. Think about the Naga Patnis. Think about that whole pastime. And read the pastime in the 10th canto. And while you're chanting, think about how incredible was Krishna dancing. Actually, Sanatana Goswami, he says in his tika that actually Radharani got on the hoods of Kaliya also. And Radharani was dancing there with Krishna as well. So there are many expansions of all of these leelas. And if we start to meditate on these leelas while we're chanting, and first of all is this mantra Mayi upasana, one meditation. And then comes automatically from the heart. You don't even have to try. It's like the mood of asakti. Asakti, there's no effort. In ruchi, there's some effort sometimes to control the senses. After nishta is ruchi, taste. But in that stage of taste, there's still some determination to follow carefully. But in the stage of asakti, there's no effort to control this. Automatically the senses are controlled. The senses has experienced a higher taste. It automatically wants to go that place. There's nothing more beautiful than thinking about Krishna. Nothing is more beautiful than thinking about Krishna. So we're happily moving in that direction. So this is how Shuddhanam will eventually be bestowed upon you.
So Maharaj, since the beginning is our effort, so like in your website there is this demons of Raja. You have given a list saying this. So is it that we have to begin from that?
No.
Nothing like that?
No. We use those perhaps as a reference point if we want to, but that's just actually those pastimes appeared in a progressive, purifying way. It's true. But we don't have to stick rigidly to that. But you should go through all those once.
Yeah.
And then know that. First is Putana. And then Shakatasura, Trinavrata. Then the twin Arjun trees. And then Bakasura. And then Agasura, Brahma Vimohan Lila. And then Pralambasura. All of these. And then, after Pralambasura, Vatsasura came before. He came earlier.
Vatsasura, after that Pralambasura, then...
Was it Vatsasura? I have a file, I can send it to you. I have a very interesting... I have this nice file, let me show you. I'll send it to you. It's all the demons in order and what they mean. Demons of Braj. So, first is Putana, Shakatasura, Trinavrata, deliverance of the 2 trees, and then Vatsasura, yes. It's a childhood pastime. And then Bakasura, then Agasura, then Brahma Vimohan Lila, then Dhenukasura, then Kaliya, then extinguishing the forest fire, then the second fire, and then the Brahmanas performing sacrifice, and the Yagya Patnis, and then overcoming Indra's pride, the Govardhan Lila. and then Nanda Maharaj captured by Varunadeva, and then Nanda Maharaj swallowed by the snake, and then Sankachuda demon, and then Aristasura, then Keshi, then Vyomasura. These are all the demons in Braj. So I'll put this on our thread, and it's a very, it's a good file. Send a copy. I'll send it now. Yeah, I've got it here. I've got you all. Jaiva Dharma. Where are we? Jaiva Dharma. Okay, there it is. Okay, sent. So that's a helpful file. So we'll stop for today. Yes, because now it's going to go into another topic. This Nityananda is going to interrupt Babaji, and he's going to ask what is his adhikar. Is he a Kanishta, a Madhyam, or an Uttam? And Babaji is going to become a little disturbed by that, but then Nityananda is going to say his life story, and then they're going to consider him as a Madhyam. And then the pastime goes on very, very beautifully. So I would encourage you all to listen, at least, or read the rest of the chapter, so you have the whole picture. That'll make it so much more fixed. So thank you all so much for listening. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhavyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.